All right, so we've arrived at the first garage sale and it's nice. Looks like there are plenty of things there to look through. So this is a nice clothing rack over here. There's some good items on here. So for example, I'm gonna pick this one up for $5. This is a New Orleans Jazz jacket. Now the team has been called the Utah Jazz for a long time, and this is a throwback jacket. The size is great, it's XXL. And there's currently one online right now on eBay for very similar to this. It's about $70 with 8 watchers. So for $5 to purchase this is a no-brainer. There's also some Leanne Rimes shirts. Like, you know, this one here, this is a concert shirt. So like on the back, you can see right here, these will flip for like $17, $18 or so, maybe even 20. So I'll pick this one up for $2. And there's some other ones there I'm gonna take a look at as well. I'm liking this one too. This is nice and clean, really sharp. It's Carlos Beltran on the Mets. Go for about anywhere $25 to $40. I'll pick it up for $5 in this kind of condition. Definitely gonna pick this up. This one is interesting. This is a Poland drawing precision set. You cannot find this in the US. The only one selling it right now is in Bulgaria for over $100. So inside is a bunch of drawing tools and stuff. So I'm gonna try to get this one. Not sure how much I'm asking yet, but I'll update later. Gonna definitely pick this one up. This one is $25 remote. That's the value on it. Funny thing is, I put the batteries in. They were my own batteries and show that it does work, as you can see here on the screen. When I used his batteries that he said were nearly 100% work, turns out they didn't work. So that's why you have to bring your own batteries, because I would have thought it was broke if I just relied on his. So real quick, I really made out there. I wound up getting the Polish stencil set here. Okay, I wound up getting the Jazz jacket that I showed you earlier. Really nice. Wound up getting the Beltran jersey, Carlos Beltran. Wound up getting the Leanne Rimes t-shirt. Wound up getting that home theater remote, and wound up getting some random vintage Snoopy piece thrown in. I go to check out with him. Everything he says, you could just have it all for $10. Now remember, originally this was supposed to be $5 and this was supposed to be $5. But that's why you buy in bulk and you start talking people up and you have conversations with them. I let them know that I'm a dealer. I let them know what I do. He cleans out estates, so that's all that stuff you saw out there was from a state. And I told him, I gave him my business card. I said, be in touch with me if you ever find comic books. Turns out, postcard guy, if you're watching this, eat your heart out. He's got old postcards from the 1800s, early 1900s, just stacks of them. So I'm going to come over and look at them once his sale is all done at some other day, and maybe make a bulk deal. So established a business relationship too, so I wanted some cash to exchange hands, so he knew that I was serious about dealing with him. Hey, just a negotiation tip regarding the purchase that I just made. Sometimes it's best to avoid going up and naming a price. Depends on the situation. Here, I already knew he wanted $5 for the coat. I knew he wanted $5 for the New York Mets jersey. I knew he wanted $2 for the Leanne Rimes t-shirt. I did not know what he was asking for this Polish stencil set. I did not know what he was going to ask for the remote or the Snoopy piece. So I could have went up and said, hey, how about $15 for everything? I purposely didn't do that, and I just said, okay, how much for everything? And sometimes what happened to me is going to happen to you, where he just said, you know what, $10 for everything. Great. Now I basically got, if you want to think of it this way, I got all that stuff free in addition to the New York Mets jersey and the Jazz jacket. So you know, let them put out the price sometimes, and then you could negotiate from there when you're bringing up a bunch of items. Sometimes if you go and you set the price, then you're going to wind up overpaying. So that's a way, for example, that I just, you know, wound up saving a bunch of money off of that purchase, is by just having him name the price. So just keep that in mind going forwards through your treasure hunts and garage sales and stuff. All right, just pulled into a neighborhood garage sale, so it looks like there's a lot of stuff here. So we'll check this out and some of the others, see if we get any good stuff. See that right there? Big giant thing of plushes, you have to check them. You could find something in here like this, a Pac-Man ghost for $1, worth 20 based on completed sales. Plushes, you definitely want to be on the lookout for these. These are Mario plushes. Depending on which ones you get, you could sell 20 of them for over $200. So these are $2 a piece. See if we can get a bulk deal on them. You see right there, that's been restitched. And like you see right here, that's been restitched. So that's going to damage the value on these things and make me not wind up purchasing them. So it's funny because when I picked out this Pac-Man ghost out of there, I asked the guy how much it was, and he goes, "Oh, that's $2. It's a Mario plush. It should be over by the other ones." And I said, "No, this is Pac-Man. It's not Mario. It's from the Pac-Man series. It's definitely a ghost." And he said, "Oh, okay. Well, it's $1 then." So it does pay to know your pop culture cartoon items. You can wind up saving money that way. Now, those plushes initially looked promising if they were all in great shape, depending on the years on them and stuff, what company made them. They could have been worth hundreds of dollars, like I said. However, that's why you have to look at them carefully. At least 2 of them are restitched, and then as I look closer on other ones, there were other problems with them, such as the labels on the back were like partially torn off. So that's really going to compromise the value. So I just wound up sticking with this guy right here. Really cool. Looking forward to putting them up and selling them for around $20. Sometimes when you're driving around and you're looking for sales, if you got a lot of them going on in a neighborhood, sometimes you just got to kind of scan the driveway and see if there's something there that looks appealing to you that wants to bring you in. And this one does look interesting because if you look closely here, we've got a Harley Davidson item right there. We've got some good signs, some beer signs, some alcohol signs, and there's stuff inside the shed. This guy could want a lot of money for this stuff, or he could be reasonable. Don't know. We're going to go up and check out and see what he's got to really offer. So it's funny, I go up there and he's got that Harley book. That's what it is. It's a big Harley book in the middle of the driveway. As soon as I saw the sticker price on it, when I saw the condition of it, it was all dirty and damaged, and it was in a cheap kind of old library plastic covering, and he wanted $25 for it. That's not garage sale prices, even for Harley Davidson item. And then I walked in. This is why I decided to do a little video about this part, because I want to give you just a little red flag to look for at garage sales sometimes. You'll especially notice this in the garage. The person had boxes that were covered with the eBay tape. So that's the tape that eBay sells through their store that you could purchase, and or you could get it with store credit. And basically what it's cueing you in on is this person is an eBay seller. Yes, someone could say, well, maybe it's something he purchased from eBay, but trust me, if you saw the setup in there and the prices that this guy has, it's totally someone who either used to or currently does sell on eBay. And in most situations, unless the person's completely getting out of eBay, and they'll usually advertise that online, the prices are really high, and just best to kind of step away from that situation, just find another sale to go to. Everything there was massively overpriced, and so it was one of the things I was concerned about going up there, but you never know till you look. But just keep that little tip in mind. So we're back, and this part of the road trip today is gonna be a little bit sad, because where we're going is a mall called Shoppingtown Mall, and it's located in Syracuse, New York. It was originally an open mall in 1954, and then it was transformed into a closed-in mall in 1975. Now, when I used to go to this mall, it was in the late 1990s and the early 2000s, and it was really a popular place to go. The food court was incredible. There were CD stores. Remember those? Everyone used to go there. All the stores were pretty much filled, and it was packed. It was a great place to go. And then, as has happened to malls all across the country, it pretty much died off, and it's now a ghost town. I mean, there's basically just a few stores located within it. Almost all the tenants have moved out, and it is slated to be completely shut down and closed in September of 2018, and they're pretty much going to turn it into like office space or something. I remember going there, the fountains would go, and there were, but people would, throw pennies in the fountains, and it was just a nice place to go. It was just a beautiful place. And it's just sad to see what's happened to it. It really got killed by online, competition, just as has happened to malls all across the country. So the reason why I'm talking about it is because one of the few stores left in there happens to be a store that sells collectibles like the type that I like to sell. And there's also comic books in there. Now, I don't remember going in there before. I have, though, and my wife told me that at the time that I went there, which was years and years ago, that the prices were pretty high. And maybe a combination of bad location and high prices is what ultimately put this person out of business, because they advertised on Craigslist that they've had a going out of business sale all this week. No reasonable offers refused. So I purposely and not purposely waited until Friday. I just had too many other things going on Monday through Thursday, and it was just impossible for me to get here. So I figured, you know what, Friday, end of the workday, head over here before going home and see if I could pick anything up. Because that's the point where the person's just going to want to get rid of the most stuff. So I'll take us in there, and at least I'll be able to show you the mall. I'm not sure how much of the actual store I'll be able to show you, but I'll definitely give you some sense of it, also on the outside as well. And you just get to see what I'm talking about just how dead this place has now become. But hopefully some good will come out of it for my business, and I'll be able to get a good deal. We'll see in a few minutes, because I'm almost there. I used to turn in here a billion times when I was younger. This was the Sears parking lot, and this is shutting down too, I believe. Not many cars here on the lot. This is the parking garage. Used to park in here a lot as well. I'll kind of drive you around it so you can see. Back in the day, not a lot of people might remember this, but this part over here, where the Sears is, this actually used to be a media store. You could buy all sorts of DVDs and stuff. This was the JCPenney's right here, and you can see there, it's almost like a tombstone to JCPenney. JCP should say RIP JCP right there, because and it's just amazing how run down it's become. I remember just coming through here all the time. There's just people constantly coming in and out, and now just blackness inside, just totally empty. This is what's happened to retail, and it's going to keep happening. Malls are just going to keep shutting down and be boarded up, just like you see here. This location, look at that. This location is now closed. And you see there it says, please visit our nearest locations at Destiny USA, wherever this store used to be in here, or Great Northern Mall. Destiny USA is one of the, let's put this out a little bit more, is one of the biggest malls in the country. It's the 6th biggest mall, located in Syracuse. And that mall does have stuff going on there in terms of, it's not shutting down. There's customers going in there, but that's because it's over 1 million square feet, and the other malls around it have just died off. And this one, and it mentioned Great Northern Mall, that'll be shut down in about a year or so, maybe less. That place is like a ghost town. This used to be a library area, and this is shut down as well. That's totally gone. Let's see here. There's a cinema. I think the cinema actually still is open. There are people still going to the cinema. Now, the entrance to where we need to be is on the other side of this mall, where there used to be a TGIF Fridays. However, that's gone too, and that's over on this side. This is the only side where there's a few things that are still in existence. I believe the Rite Aid pharmacy is still open. But again, the JCPenney's is closed. This is the only part that is kept up a little bit. You can see here some of the bushes and stuff. Few cars in the lot, but not many. And back in the day, on a normal day, you wouldn't even be able to get a spot. Forget it. So this is the old entrance to TGI Fridays. There's JCPenney's back there, just completely decimated, shut down. Yeah, now this used to be where Fridays was. You can see here, this was the area where people would wait. And you go, right inside is where it was. There's the serving areas in there. Just sad to see it gone. Keep moving on. There's one store that's open here. A lacrosse store that's big in central New York is lacrosse. That's probably why that's going. Now, I cannot believe what I'm hearing. Which are the fountains going? The last time I was here, which was when the mall was going downhill, the fountains were never going. So it's great to see them actually on and get them on recording one last time. I have good memories of just sitting right here and watching these fountains go. But, you know, back in the day, there are people walking all over the place here. But now, we just got one guy just sitting there on a bench at the end, and that's it. Got another fountain going right here. Glad to see they still got that going now. They got that back up and running. JCPenney's shuttered down. Looks like a jail cell. There's nothing in there. Just ghost town. Whole mall, pretty much a ghost town. These are some fountains downstairs that I just wanted to get on film. Found it. Galaxy Stars. So it's all sorts of stuff. There's sports stuff in here, as you could probably see. There's going to be all sorts of toys, collectibles, Pokemon cards. I mean, whatever you could think of. I do remember being in this place, actually. I did find a really good Good, the Bad, the Ugly poster. It's actually a frame that I have hanging in my basement in the man cave. And this place is still pretty packed up, so see what it's like in here. These are the comic books. Unfortunately, none of these really have much in terms of value. I'll keep looking, see if I can find anything that's a gem in here. I do like this store display, and be interested in seeing if I can get this. And a mannequin. I do need a mannequin. Are you selling the mannequin? Lots of good stuff in here. But it's these kind of prices that make it difficult to stay in business. So I just left that store. This is the outside of an old JCPenney's. I'm gonna walk over towards the food court, show you how dead that is, but I could not make a deal with that guy. One of the reasons is because he is not truly going out of business. He's moving his business to another location, obviously, because this place is dead. So he wasn't really looking to blow the inventory out too much, just get a little bit of it gone. His prices were still pretty much pretty high. He wanted $50 for the mannequin. I could get a mannequin like that for $50 on Amazon with free shipping. So there's no way I was going to pay $50 for it. Then he wanted $20 for the cardboard display of Magic the Gathering, and I wasn't going to do that. So anyway, this is the food court area. I'll get back to talking about the display in just a moment, but this is the food court area. This used to be just packed back in the day. I remember sitting at this first table right here, and just you could barely get a seat back then. That was a pizza place right there for a long time. This was one of the last vestiges that was open, even when all the other places were dying off, but even they had to move out of here. So it's just gone. I mean, there's nothing left. Good. Okay. All right, totally busted by security. They don't want anybody filming in there without permission. And so it didn't make any sense for me to walk to the other end of the mall to get permission just to do a few minutes of a wrap up that I could just do from the car here. But I do want to make a few points that I think are important. One, the reason why I didn't buy the mannequin and the store display is because a few things. One, I really don't need one. I'd like to have one. It is a goal of mine to get one. I do think it will help make better photos for my shirts and shorts and stuff like that, but I am doing fine without it. And so while it'll be something nice to have, it's not something that I feel like paying up for. When I say paying up for, it's all about the context. So remember, this was supposed to be a going out of business sale. That's what it was advertised as online. But when I walked in there, as I mentioned, the owner told me that it actually is him moving to another store. He's not really going out of business. And he told me, which is an interesting point, that he actually has less store space in his next store because most of what he sells online. Let me repeat that. Most of what he sells online. So being an online retailer is really where you need to be. That's why those stores in there are dead. That's why that mall is dead, because online retail is where it's at and where people are making the bulk of their money. Even the brick and mortar stores are making more, not all of them, but a lot of them are making more of their money online than they are people actually coming into the store and purchasing from them. So because he was moving, he really wasn't as motivated to blow out his inventory as he would have been if he was totally shutting down. So a lot of his prices were still really high. So for example, he had Funko Pops in there that he was selling for $10, $15 when that's really all they were worth full on retail. So there was no reason I was gonna pay that price for it when, you know, normally if you watch my videos, I pay $2 per Funko Pop when I'm buying them in bulk or less. So, you know, it didn't make any sense. You saw the price sticker that I showed on one of those items. They're cool items, they're great items, don't get me wrong. I like a lot of the stuff that he has in his store, but as a dealer, as a reseller, that's just not the place for me to get a deal, because even $60 for one of those big posters, you know, the average person, by the way, is not going to buy one of those framed for $60 in the store. They're probably going to get it discounted somewhere online, even still with free shipping. So even in buying them from him, you know, most he's probably going to give me is like $10 off. It's just not worth it. So yeah, you know, the mannequin, I could get that for $50 on Amazon, even a standing one with a swivel and stuff like that. So it doesn't really make any sense. Plus, I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna buy that for $50, and then I'm gonna go to an estate sale tomorrow and find one there for $5 to $10. And then I'm gonna kick myself. Yeah, maybe if I purchased a store display, I would have made all the money back. I don't know, it was a little bit of a shot in the dark with that. So I decided just, yeah, not to go through with it. Didn't really make much sense. So there's nothing else going on today. That's pretty much going to be a wrap, but at least I don't feel it was really a total waste of a visit, because at least I got to document, you know, a good example of the death of many malls in America, and for me, one that's personal, that I used to visit. So it was a little sad to see, but at the same time, good to see a little bit of life with those fountains going again. That was nice. So hopefully, you know, when they turn this into office space, it'll look like a nice place. But yeah, malls, retail malls, brick and mortar, really, really big problems all across the United States. So feel encouraged from this, despite the fact that that's said, if you're doing online resale, that is definitely where you need to be. So I hope that you found the different tips and things in this video helpful and interesting. If so, make sure you hit the like button down below, drop a comment if you saw something interesting or something that you want to make a point about. Please go ahead. I love seeing all the comments and questions that people ask. Also, for additional tips and ideas about reselling, come to my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. The link to it is down below. And importantly, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I am this close right now to 300, might even make it by the end of the night. If not, Joe, take a look, see how close I am to it. Either bring me over the top or start adding me up to 400. Want to get there, so show support for the channel, and it means a lot to me when I see subscriptions come in. It shows me that you guys are really liking the content. So with that, I am gonna head home, call it a wraps for the day, and start getting some items packed up to get out of here. See ya, everyone.